It is a 2-week Premier League break, yet more leaks and information is coming out on Erik Ten Hag, which is incredibly frustrating. Info coming out is suggested that Pellistri set to leave Manchester United on a permanent deal could be the next exit. We'll get into the news on that and my opinions. Timo Werner on the verge of joining Spurs. That's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano today, so he will not be going to United. Who will United's striker target be? Because United are looking at strikers on loan. Who could that be? Amongst other news and information coming out on Jadon Sancho's move. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and let's dive into the info, starting with the leaks that's come out from the very credible Andy Mitten, who's one of the best journalists surrounding Manchester United. And he said the understanding from multiple sources is that many Manchester United players have lost belief and confidence. They have issues with the way the club has been run, and several didn't think the strategic review going on in the background helped. I don't like leaks coming out, but look, I'll be honest, this source here, spot on. The thing is, the Man United players have obviously lost confidence. The Man United players have obviously lost belief, and Ten Hag needs to get them back into the players. And I think the fact that the takeover and the uncertainty around the club the last year, the distractions hasn't helped. I think when the club is so ignored from those at the top, and they clearly ignore Murterano, Ten Hag, those at the top, that will then reflect on the players. And there is that sort of, you run the club badly at the top, it's going to reflect all the way down. That is the situation at United. I think the strategic review, the fact that staff know that their futures might not be safe, this whole takeover, this distraction, this media has definitely not helped. Not that it's an excuse, but it's not helped. But then it was said, however, reports of Ten Hag losing the dressing room are not accurate. Some are right behind him, others are not. He also has doubts about some players, and some have proved incapable of following his specific instructions on the field. Now, this is where the leaks start to get interesting. Erik Ten Hag's not lost the dressing room, but some players have turned on him. And I did a live stream a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you can tell that some players are here for Ten Hag and some aren't. You can tell that Garnacho plays for Ten Hag. You can tell that Maguire did when he was playing. You can tell Højlund plays for Ten Hag. You can tell there's certain players that, yeah, they're playing for Ten Hag. You know, there's certain players I go, he's playing for Ten Hag. Luke Shaw, another one of them. Bruno Fernandes, another one of them. But then there's other players who I'm not going to name because I don't want to start like people saying that in case they haven't. But there's other players I look at and I think, yeah, they're not playing for the manager. There's some games we've played where the players that I don't think are playing for the manager have obviously just sort of been bad. And I'm like, they weren't playing for the manager, but this player was, but we lost because these players weren't. If I was to name one because he's probably leaving, I would have said Martial, just because of his body language and the way he presents himself. And I don't understand why he's not playing for the manager, but he knows he's gone. He knows it's that contract. He knows he's leaving in January. But I think you can see that some games, these players work really hard and they get a good win. Villa, turned it around. We saw, okay, they're playing the Fulham game, the Villa game. Oh, these players play for the manager. But then the Newcastle game, they're not playing for the manager. You look at the Forest game, no, look at the lack of intensity. They're not playing for the manager. And I think that's quite accurate. I'd say that there is a portion of the dressing room that is turned on the manager, but I would say that a lot of the players that do start, like Luke Shaw, Garnacho, Bruno, Maguire, I don't think have turned on the manager. It was then said this, and I think this was fair. Not that I like the leaks coming out. I don't think the leaks coming out are fair. I don't think any of this info should be coming out, but I do think that this is a very good observation. It was said that Erik totally misjudged the qualities needed to play in the Premier League. 100%. Bringing in Anthony, bringing in all these Eredivisie players that aren't good enough to play in the Premier League. It was said by a leading agent, I rate him as a coach, and if he had an experienced sporting director alongside him like he had Overmars at Ajax, he wouldn't need to worry so much about the recruitment side of things, because you look at what Pep has, and Erik, who does Erik have? And that's spot on. Erik's recruitment has been dreadful, but that shouldn't be his role, that shouldn't be his job, and I won't criticise him for that, because if we were a proper run club, he wouldn't be saying, let's bring in Mason Mount, let's bring in Anthony. He would have someone actually capable of doing that, and probably bringing in someone better for less money. The frustration is that Erik Ten Hag begs for Amrabat and begs for Mason Mount and then plays McTominay and Eriksen over them. That is the big frustration with Ten Hag, but I think it's right. Erik Ten Hag definitely misjudged the qualities to play in the Premier League. It's a learning curve job for him. If we sack him, we're getting Graham Potter as things stand. So I would rather give Erik Ten Hag to the end of the season, see how he does when players come back from injury, and just hope he doesn't continually make the same mistakes like playing McTominay 24/7. Continue on. It says Dave Brailsford and Ratcliffe have made a positive impression as they met Man United staff on Thursday. Brailsford wants to look under the bonnet at the components that make up the remit on the footballing side, and there are heads of departments who are absolutely fine with that. Good. Needs to be done. Boom. It was also said the strategic review has led to significant uncertainty among staff and has now become unease over what INEOS will do, what powers they will have. This has proved a distraction from some staff who are more subliminally for players undermining the authority of both Ten Hag and Mercer. So the suggestion is that because INEOS are coming in and now there's a lot of uncertainty around Mercer and Ten Hag, the players feel the need to potentially undermine the manager, and that is potentially worrying. I think that obviously there will be a bulk of players that will remain professional, as I said earlier, but there seems that there will be players at United that will undermine the manager, saying, well, INEOS will get rid of him soon, or INEOS will get rid of Mercer. And because they know that a lot of staff are under pressure, because INEOS are going to completely rehaul the footballing side of things, which needs to be done, potentially that does rub off on the players for saying, well, their future's uncertain, so it doesn't really matter. AKA Jadon Sancho. He wants to go to Dortmund on loan, but he wants to come back to Man United in the summer, because Jadon Sancho ultimately believes that he will outlive Ten Hag at United. He's on 350k a week at United. He doesn't want to leave United. He wants to go for Dortmund so he can play for 6 months on loan, regain form, then come back to United and hope that Ten Hag has been sacked by them. But at the end of the day, Sancho shouldn't be coming back to United because he refused to play for us for 4 months. That should be it. Now, the frustrating thing is Sancho, Elanga and Pellistri are all better right wingers than Antony, but they look set to leave United before Antony, with reports coming out that Villarreal are actually lining up a permanent move for Facundo Pellistri, and Erik Ten Hag is ready to let him leave, which doesn't surprise me. Villarreal set to submit a formal bid for Pellistri, including a loan with a buy option. I think the fact that Ahmad came on over him, Garnacho's played right wing, and he continuously plays Antony, I think that Pellistri will go. Would I rather Pellistri play on the right wing than Antony? Absolutely. I'd rather Pellistri play right wing than Antony. He plays for Uruguay. He offers more than Antony. But like Antony Elanga, it's best for Pellistri for him to leave United, because Ten Hag's not going to drop Antony for him. He's not going to get the minutes. And I think Pellistri and Elanga are very good players, but I don't know if they ever have what it takes to play for United. Elanga's done very well at Nottingham Forest, but he doesn't play against low blocks. I think Pellistri and Elanga are the type of guys that could play for a top 10 Premier League club. But would they be your right winger in a title-winning side? Probably not. Would Antony? Absolutely not. We need to sell Antony. But my point is, I'm okay with Pellistri leaving, but it's frustrating that we're selling Pellistri and we're selling Elanga before we sell Antony when Pellistri and Elanga are better players. But I think every day MUFC kind of sums this up well. I feel like the time has come for Pellistri. He just doesn't really play a lot. He plays a lot for Uruguay. There's a good player in there. And I think, letting him go could let us bring in another winger. As I said, I like Pellistri. He likes to go direct. He likes to actually take on his man. But he's just not going to get the game time at United, and I think for his development, he should leave. Maybe he will be good enough for United. I believe that he's better than Antony. I believe that he should be playing right wing over Antony. But I personally believe that Amad Diallo will be a better player than Facundo Pellistri. So if we have to stick between Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo, I would go with Amad Diallo. Plus, we spent more money on him, which doesn't really back up my point, because I'm saying we should get rid of Antony, who we spent too much money on. But yeah, I think it's right for Pellistri to go for his development, his career. Would I rather him play than Antony? Yes. But do I think about what Pellistri needs? He needs what Elanga needs to get at this club, because he's not going to get the minutes over Antony. And I think Amad Diallo's higher ceiling than him. I think when I look at Man United's long-term rebuild, the 3 right wingers I have in mind is Amad Diallo, Garnacho, and an Elise or Nico Williams coming in, and they can be the 3 people that can cover the right wing. So I like Pellistri, but I think it would be best for him to move on. But it's just frustrating that Elanga's gone, Pellistri's gone before Antony. I think Antony has to go in the summer. Now, talking of players that Man United won't be signing, and that is Timo Werner to Spurs, and I'm absolutely okay with that. It was said that Werner's on the verge of joining Spurs. He's in agreement with Ange, blah, 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 blah. It looks like Werner to Spurs is essentially done. I'm more than okay with that. I think for Werner, he's much more suited to Spurs than United. He'll have a much better chance at reviving his career at Spurs than United. He will suit Ange a lot more than Ten Hag will. He will get chances, and I think Tottenham, we saw yesterday, without Son, their attack, do you know what I mean? And they just need someone to come in. And look, while Werner isn't brilliant and most exciting, it's someone they can actually just bring in on loan, someone that can do a job, someone that, I wouldn't say Premier League proven, but, I think someone that can play striker, right wing, left wing, just give you another option there, because at the end of the day, Veliz is injured. You've got no one. You've got unless you stick, I don't know, Decky centre forward. If Richarlison gets injured, they've got no one to play in the middle, have they? Because Son's out for a month. So I think it is smart for Spurs, and I think he'll be more suited to Spurs than Man United. And then continuing on Jadon Sancho, it's just basically said that Man United don't want to include a buy option in the Dortmund deal, because there's a chance that Sancho comes back and revives his United career. And it was said that despite Timo Werner going to Spurs, United are very much in the market for a striker this month. I think Once Sancho's gone, we'll hear more about the striker United go for. I think if Martial does end up leaving as well, we'll hear even more info. But I think it will be quiet until sales have happened because it's Manchester United as well. But listen, people, I hope you liked today's video. It was a quick summary of all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, takeover news, and more. Please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I will be back about 5:30 tonight for a live stream. See you then, and bye.